Good morning again. I gotta show this house. All right, we're still at Crane Point, and the house behind me is essentially made of burnt seashells. So built by George Adderley, 1904 to 1906, took a couple years. It's still here, obviously been restored to some extent, but main structure is still here. And this house we can go into. This is really cool. And as you can see, my family is listening to the ocean over here. Oh, I'll come back, buddy. So this is really cool. The ultimate greenhouse, right? So George Adderley was from the Bahamas, and when sponges were actually made of natural material, he was sponging, and he would go out in his boat and get his sponges and sell them at auction. That's how he made his money. And they built this, and he essentially lived off the 32 acres that he had here, and obviously maybe shorter than me because I'm bumping my head as I'm coming in here. So I have to read a couple things in here. So the walls are actually made, it's called Tabby, and it's not an easy process apparently from what is being described here. So I'll flip this camera around if you are interested in reading it. But to make Tabby, you have to burn several dry tropical hardwood branches to ash, add oyster shells, which have been bleached in the sun to hot embers, burn the oyster shells down to ash. The mixture of wood, ash, and oyster shell ash makes an old-fashioned form of lime, the binding agent in cement. And as we all know, well, if you're familiar with construction, lime is not good for us. So you mix the lime and sand and water, and this makes a cement that binds the aggregate together. Add some thoroughly washed oyster shells to the cement, cast the concrete in wood forms to create walls, blocks, or paving stones. Remove the forms when the concrete is set and scrub the surface to remove excess cement and exposed shells. And this is what you get. And now it seems like, oh yeah, we could have did that pretty easily, but imagine doing this 115 years ago at this point. So very cool. So I'm calling this the ultimate greenhouse. So, and it's actually like, we're in Marathon, Florida here. I think we're about 26 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is Fahrenheit, but it does not feel like that. It's actually pretty cool in this house. And I sweat easily. So the other cool thing is that obviously there's no kitchens back then. So kitchens at that point were outdoor kitchens, partly because they're worried about fire. And you don't want to burn down your house. If you burn down your kitchen, not as big a deal. Made of wood, don't need to worry about redoing all of that hard work. And this would be their kitchen, and set up just like that for the most part, right? It looks like a couple train tracks, and put the fire below it, and you cook off of that. So the original kitchens as well. So very cool. My son Sullivan has taken it all in as well. Definitely learn a lot of cool stuff from history, right? And how people used to build things and how they used to live. And obviously times are changing, but we can still learn a lot from these types of things. There's something to be said for living off the earth that's around you, right? Staying local, working off of that. So really cool stuff. Couldn't go without sharing this. I learned a lot. And once again, if you're ever in the Keys, going through Marathon, definitely check out this location. So Crane Point Museum and Nature Center. And this is just one of the lots of really cool things. We actually got fish pedicures here as well. So they have a little section where you could sit and actually, you pay $100 for this in the city somewhere. Or you can come here and hang out in nature and let nature do its thing. So highly recommend it. Hope you're having an awesome day, and we will see you on the next video.